Hello class, welcome to English 190. I'm Miss Caldwell and I like to do these video walkthroughs of our assignments because in in-person class, I would always spend the last 10 to 15 minutes going over the assignment so everyone's on the same page and we all understand what we need to do. Alright, drink real quick. I don't care what season it is, I like that cup. Alright, so first off we're going to have a discussion board, our 1-1. We've got our initial post that's due Thursday. First off, we're going to introduce ourselves to the class and include your major and anything you want to disclose. If you don't want to disclose anything, just tell us your major and we'll go on to the next prompt. Now, we want to describe a time in your life when you use research. It could be a school project. It could be an everyday research question that you have, but I want it one time, not general. So don't tell me when I pick a restaurant, this is my steps. I want, last Thursday, my friends and I were trying to figure out what we wanted for dinner. Okay, so we need to know the purpose of the research. What steps did you take? And I need 3 steps for this second prompt, okay? So 3 steps that you use to complete this research. Third, did you find any Gen AI programs that were useful in the process? So let me know how you use that. And final prompt for the initial post is which parts of the process worked well for you? Did you have any trouble finding information? If so, what did you do? Okay, so again, introduce yourself. Tell us about a time that you were researching. What was the purpose? What 3 steps did you take? Did you use Gen AI? And what parts worked for you? And if it didn't work, what'd you do next? For our responses, we need 2 responses by Sunday. You can spread these responses out over multiple days if that's easier on your life. As long as we have 1 initial post by Thursday and 2 responses by Sunday, I'm a happy camper. So the responses, what did you connect with in your peers' post? So what got your attention about their experience with research? And I need to follow up with the reaction for their second prompt. And what did you learn about research from their experiences? Is there anything in their process that you can apply to yours? Fairly straightforward, done and dusted, right? Which is good because our big assignment this week is the 1-2. And they have revamped this in January of 2025. So if you have taken this class before and it looks different, it is different. Sorry about that. It's a curveball that we're all having to adjust to. So, in this course, they're going to complete a final project in Module 7. We're going to have 2 parts. We're going to look at the research question and sources and a persuasive essay supported by research. For Part 1 in this essay, we're going to look at our sources, and for Part 2, it's the essay. We'll go over all these in more detail in future assignment walkthroughs, so don't worry about that right now. We are going to have to use 3 sources total, okay? 1 article from the project resources and 2 through the library, okay? 1 from the resources, 2 from the library. Now, the new project resources has a list of categories. And you've got a research starter with background information and, okay, it's going to be, so if you don't know anything about book bans, you've got this little paper-ish looking thing that can give you some background on it. So, want to choose the category that's most interesting to us. So, AI and art, book bans, the gig economy, and environmental sustainability. Okay? Now, you're going to pick one of those 4 that interest you. It has 2 articles that we can pick from. So pick one that you like best. Sorry about that. Project. Okay. And then we're going to review the project guidelines and rubrics always to see where the points are and what we're going to be looking for. Okay, but after we've got our article, we're going to go to our big Module 1 assignment. And that is, we've got review the project resources, select a category, skim the article, pick one that you like, identify issues within the article that you might want to work with for this course. Okay, and we've got 5 prompt questions. I recommend copying and pasting these into a blank document. Okay, first off, we're going to summarize the main argument in 1 to 2 sentences. I will need the title and the article that you're going to be looking at. And you also have to identify the major category. Okay? Second, we are going to state the purpose of your research. So we need to explain your interest in the article and the topic in the article that you would like to explore further. The topics must be related to the article category, but must be broad enough to sustain a research project and have 2 clear opposing sides, because we are going to be arguing for a side in the debate. Okay? So that leads us to prompt 3. 2 opposing sides. Briefly describe the core idea and the main perspective for 2 opposing sides. This article that we like to explore further. Number 4, prompt. Reflect on any knowledge that you already have about this topic and your interest. Discuss what you would need to research to understand more about this topic. Okay. Final prompt. Write 2 to 3 research questions about your topic. Think about the purpose of your research and identify the questions you would like to answer. Consider also problems you would like to solve. So I'm going to take you through this as though I was going to do it, okay? I'm not choosing one from our project resource document because I don't want to influence your research or your debatable answers or even the articles you find, okay? So I'm going to look at pet ownership. I think we all have some experience with that, or you've seen it somewhere in the media. So I would summarize my article about ethics of pet ownership. I would also include the title and the author and the category that it's under. I'm going to tell about my interest. I have a longtime pet owner. My family has pets, and I want to look at the ethics of pet ownership and whether or not we maybe should own pets, or if there are better ethical ways to being a pet owner. I'm going to look at 2 opposing sides. Okay, my actual topic will probably be about preventing pet boredom, because a bored pet maybe isn't the best ethical practices. I don't know. This is rough drafting it, guys. So 2 opposing sides. One is going to be that to be better pet guardians and owners, we need to think about the pet as a whole, not just their physical, but also their mental and emotional well-being. While the other side of the argument would be like, it's an animal. As long as they're healthy, you're good. I'm going to talk about my personal knowledge and interest in the topic, because I've had a herding dog before, and a bored herding dog is very, very bad. Very, very bad. And I need to also talk about what else I would need to research to understand this topic a bit more. And then I'm going to finally write 2 to 3 research questions about my topic. So how can we be better pet guardians by preventing boredom? Maybe the ethics of owning pets in general, like I was saying earlier about can we be a more ethical pet owner by considering the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of our pets. And finally, probably something about, should people have pets when they don't have the time or the energy to, be active and engaged with them. Again, this is just rough drafting it, which is all I'm asking for this assignment, is for you to rough draft ideas. We're not going to think about it too much, because this, again, is just kind of like the initial step of any research project, when you're just thinking about, what do I know? What do I want to know? What are some good research questions? What are some bad research questions? Because we might need to get those bad research questions out of our system. This should be a 1-page, double-spaced, 12-point Times New Roman paper. If it's 2 pages, I'm okay with that. but let's not go for 3. Just remember, Times New Roman, 12 point, double spaced, 1-inch margins, okay? And we are going to be doing APA resources, and you'll notice down here when we get down to our rubric that all of those prompt questions have their own points. So let's be sure that we answer all of them to the best of our abilities. And again, rough drafting is fine. Now, you'll notice in the project resources PDF and the web page that the PDF is based off of, that there are 4 topics: artificial intelligence, book bans, then there's the gig economy and environmental sustainability. Every one of those has 2 articles, and the APA citation. It does say that we can have a 5th category of our own choice and an article that we can pick from that category. I will not accept or grade Year 1-2 if we have not discussed those alternative topics. I do not want to be blindsided and you talk about something that's absolutely humongous. It's going to be difficult to research ahead without having that discussion with you ahead of time, okay? So let's try to go for those 4 topics and the 2 articles from each topic. They look like good topics from here, and if nothing else, they look like really good articles in any case. So even if you're not into book bans, you might like one of the articles. Okay, so email me any questions that you have. I am on my email. My phone has my email. And I usually answer between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., give or take a little bit. If there's a family event or I'm mowing the yard, I might answer a bit later. If I need to sit down with my computer and it's like 6:30, my computer's off for the night, I'll probably get to it the next day. Go ahead and email me at 3 a.m. if you need to. I'll get to it first thing in the morning, okay? And let's get through this term and have a great one, okay? Again, email me your questions, and even if it's 4 a.m., okay? Bye.